Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. Back to Anchor FM now. First, back to just a podcast, just my voice. Following on from the last few, when I was talking about am I me and are you you? So that's I sort of answered everything I think I need to say actually, but what I was thinking of is expanding upon that concept that shows that depending where you are is what shapes you as a person. For instance, like I said, if you're born in the woods, you'd still be you, but you wouldn't be the same you that, say, if you were born in England. The same as you wouldn't be the same you if you were born in, say, Russia or North Korea or Iraq or Afghanistan or Africa. Depending where you're born, not only that, also depending what sex you are and other divisive things, and also what time you're born in. Also, these would shape you, because if you're born in one particular time opposed to another, you're the same being, but you would be completely unrecognizable to each other. So that shows you that we are, well, it gets a grey area to quantify what actually you are as a person, because you're picking up things all the time, you're being shaped. You're a bit like clay. You start off with clay and you're moulded by people throughout time, depending on where you are and when you are. Right, so that shows that there is, I suppose you could say, some manipulation. Now, it doesn't have to be negative. I know manipulation carries a negative connotation, but, your parents and your brothers and sisters and teachers and whatever may not have a negative agenda. They're just trying to show you the way, because that's how we do things. We pass our information down. But we are shaping that individual, same as I've been shaped to the person I am. Through time, my age, I've changed. I'm not the same person. If I was to meet myself 20 years ago, and you hear people say this many times, if they could talk to themselves before, how they would advise themselves. So we know all this concept. So therefore, it sort of made me think about the idea of like the big question that people are always asked about anything that's against the narrative of the time or the world or the country you live upon. False flag, flat earth, government, conspiracy, whatever you want to ask. The question of why would people lie? When I would put it to you, based on what I've been talking about, we're already lied to all the time. We're lied to about our very own selves, about our very own existence. Everything is simplified. If someone said to me, with great sincerity, that you are a man, you are a white man, you are a white British man. But I'm none of these things. These are all constructs. They're not, I was going to say illusions, but they're things that have been moulded through time. This piece of land that I stand upon has no name. It was given a name by a man. Now, if you want to adopt the system that we live in, then, you're going to believe all those things. And which is what most of us do, because we're taught from a baby, from infancy, when we do not have, well, the thing is we don't have naturally those facilities to question things, because we're taught to question things. We're taught how to believe, how to think. If that wasn't done to us, we'd be like the baby in the wood that is unable to communicate, unable to even think. I don't know what naturally a human being does without all these moulding things. It's the same as like, I'm a man. No, I'm not a man. There's no such thing. It's a concept. It's a divisive concept. Yes, I'm different from a female. I suppose that one is a bit more questionable, but yeah. But what I mean is the actual name of man. There's no such thing. Each different country, each different time, through thousands of years, there's been different words for what a man or a woman is. But you're told these things as if they're definitive. That's what I'm trying to sort of get to the point of. The same as like, what was the other one? Man, white. That is definitely a construct. I'm not white. people have said that you look white because of your face colour, although actually I look pink. But they use that term, it's a divisive term, like they say this person is black, this person is, whatever, just so that they can have some kind of differentiation between the two of you, but they're both human beings, you're both the same species, so there is no difference between you. It's just something that someone's constructed through time. And the reason they probably did it in the beginning was a negative one, to divide you. The same as countries are to divide you. We are one species on this planet. We are all the same. And a lot of people will disagree with that because they have been taught or have learnt that they want to be superior or they want to be apart because they either, well, I assume it must be taught, because I don't think it is natural to not like someone just because of their skin colour. I think if you had different babies of ethnicities, so-called ethnicities, and you put them in a forest all together, I don't think they would have problems with each other like they do in our society, because I believe it is, in some degrees, maybe subtly taught, through movies, through television, through, different generations, how they talk to their kids. Schools, I don't think are as big a problem, but I'm sure there's parts of it. You could say the way they teach history, there might be things where they neglect to mention lots of things, or it's very white orientated. The history, white people are seen as the heroes, like Winston Churchill or something like that, So what I'm trying to say is that when you say about what would be the motive to lie, we are lying to ourselves, and we've been lying to, have been lied to, because we wake up into this construct and we believe it to be the only thing and the only way. Well, that's nonsense, because it's been evolved through years by different people who are no longer with us, unless they're all living in Antarctica on the other side of the ice wall. Let's not bring that into it. But no, what I'm trying to say is that it's a construct, surely. But the thing is, I know there'll be a lot of people that won't get that thing. They won't. It's like when you talk about flat Earth or false flags and things. Because they've been, I don't want to use the word brainwashed, but we've been taught everything. We've been taught, that we admire, we believe teachers, because they're the ones that give us all this knowledge. We believe in institutions, your own country. You wave your flag. You are this, you are that. Here's a piece of paper that says what you are. Now I understand, this like legal fiction thing. I didn't sort of grasp that concept, what they meant by legal fiction. Because yes, it is. We are a fictional character. We aren't really these things. We're human beings. The problem is it's like if you watch, say, The Maze Runner, or I don't know, one of these types of films where they're indoctrinated into believing, same like not Animal Farm, 1984, they have their 5-minute hate. They believe in that and they don't question it. It's Winston O. Smith that starts to question things and realise that, wait a minute, things don't have to be this way. I always used to not get the idea of when he used to, because his job was to edit the newspapers, and they would go back and alter things so that things would look better, or and I realise now what George Orwell was trying to show, that he was trying to show that this type of thing, it happens, but it's very subtle. There's different ways of doing it. It may not be edited per se, but I think he was talking about history. And we know that goes on. So I think the thing is, when you say, why would people do things? I know that normally the answer is like power and money and all those types of things. But the fact is, we live our own existence, our own life, our own being is made up of lies, as it were. They may not be negative or intentional lies, but what I mean is you are not of your country. You are not, you're all one being. All of us. But the problem is we've all been programmed. I know that word has a connotation to it. But I mean, we've all been schooled. We've all been to school wherever we are. We all have certain things that are all very similar, like the governments, the systems. They're all, despite, you'd think that through, 300 different countries, there'd be some differences, but a lot of them have the same kind of system, where it comes to schooling, when it comes to religion, when it comes to politics, when it comes to police, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to, identity. A lot of these things are all the same. But the thing I'm trying to say is they're all made up, they're all constructs. I know most people will know this, and I'm banging on about it, but I'm hoping... the problem is like, we all know this, not all of us know it, because some people take it for granted, don't really realise. As children, we tend to question it a lot more, because I remember thinking these things when I was a child and get taught that no, this is the way it is, and this is like this, you can't print money, and this type of thing, and those childish thoughts are taken away from you, and they're explained to you that no, this is life, this is the way things are. Things don't get changed that quickly. It's difficult. It's this is you're living in a great time, and blah 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 blah. All lies in a way, because yes, anything can happen. We can change anything, but the problem is we can't, because we've all been schooled into believing that we are this and we are that. So I don't know how we need to all be de-schooled and then re-schooled in a different system, but then of course it causes the same problem. So I don't know whether there is a solution to what I'm suggesting is a problem. But anyway, I think now I've sort of answered all those things. I'm worried that I may sort of start to waffle on and start to sort of repeat myself a bit, and I keep trying to stop doing these things, but it's very addictive. But yeah, I think I've sort of covered everything that I need to say. I'm sure there's going to be other things that are going to make me, trigger me, or make me think, oh, what about this, or what about that? My greatest worry is that even if people understood all this, they would just be apathetic and think, no, our life, it's okay, it's great, I'll just keep it as it is, I won't change anything because it's too difficult, or what if we make it worse? But when we look at the life that we're living in this year, the amount of people that are struggling, the amount of people that are dying, the amount of injustices and inequality for different types of things, whether it's to do with people or personalities or labels and all sorts of other things, whether it's to do with poverty, whether it's to do with diseases, whether it's to do with truth, whether it's to do with politics, all of these things that are happening all around this realm, existence, planet, whatever you want to call the place that we live, they're all happening. And for a lot of people, it's very negative, this life. The only people that, people with, maybe houses and good jobs and whatever, they probably don't think about these things because they think, well, I'm living a nice, comfortable life. But I would ask people of them like that, people who think that this doesn't matter, to think about all those people who are suffering and try. It's the most difficult thing when you have happiness, when you have everything, when you're the rich ones, the 1%, the 10% of middle class or whoever, the people that, have everything they want almost, maybe some things are difficult, but it's not too bad, their life. For them to think about everyone on this planet, your brothers and sisters, they are your brothers and sisters, we are all one species. It doesn't matter if they tell you they're from India, they're from Africa, they're from America, they're from England, they're from the Philippines, they're from Australia, wherever they are your problem, they are our problem, we are all one, we are the same. It doesn't matter that they say you're black, you're white, you're Asian. It doesn't matter they say of your nationality, because if you look in the mirror, you can see that we're one species. We have eyes, we have noses, we have hands, we have hearts, we have lungs, we have thoughts, we have consciousness, we feel pain, all of us. An enlightened species cannot just say, I'm okay, Jack, I'm not going to care about everyone else. And it's not about giving money and donations and things like that. It's about actually making the change, changing this paradigm, this way that we live. But I guess the problem is even the middle class people wouldn't be, even like millions of people. If millions of people who has the power? Is it the rich, or is it all of the 99% that don't have all the money and don't have all the luxuries? Although I know that's not that great an amount, but I know I always get depressed when I get to this point, because I always realise that even if people do wake up to this message, even if people do understand, which lots of people do, people know the truth, and it doesn't matter whether they know about flat Earth or believe in the globe or false flag and this kind of stuff. I mean, these are all ways of enlightenment to looking at truth and things like that. But everyone knows about the suffering of our own species, and it seems like it goes on and on and on, and it never gets sorted out. And I guess the main problem is because those in power, no matter, even in the countries that are, that we may think that are poor and this, that and the other, those are the people in power are the ones that have the power, isn't it? But the thing is, they will never change things because everyone else won't change things. No one's going to give up their country and say, "Oh no, let's all be one species. We'll take down the borders and everyone can come everywhere." It would be pandemonium, wouldn't it? So I'm asking for something that probably is too late to ask for. That it's an impossibility, and that's why I guess people, throughout the generations have not made that change. I don't know what would make us. I mean, I suppose like some people may think, it could be, some kind of religious thing. But I mean, that hasn't, there's many prophets that have come and we're still living in this shit, as it were. Some people may say it could be some kind of alien invasion. Maybe that will be the type of thing, whether it's true or not. Even if it was false, if it was something that's, that would then unite us as a species and make us realise that, wait a minute, yeah, everyone is all the same. It's now them who's the enemy, not our own brothers and sisters, but the aliens are the enemy. So we'll all be one now and work together. I don't know, but it'd be, I suppose the thing is, it's negative that would be the reason for why we would change, just because we can move our hatred from one another to some other species. So I don't know, maybe, I'm thinking that what I'm thinking of is, this utopia, as it were, is an impossibility. And is the most depressing thing, really, isn't it? Because then everything that we do as truth seekers, as flat earthers, as paradigm shifters, as false flaggers, as, social experimentalists, as all the different things, all the different fights for a better world, they may all be fruitless, and that's my worry. Anyway, before I get too depressed, and depress you as well, thank you for listening. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.